Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Duke Fiddly, favorite lo-fi music YouTuber, and welcome to a rather inconvenient review here. This is going to be kind of a quicker review. As you can probably tell by the footage here, I'm unable to edit this or use a good webcam for this. This is recorded on my phone because, in an ironic twist of fate, my laptop is yet again out of commission like it was months ago. I want to say in May, I think that was right when it was, and it has a similar issue too, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'll get the laptop back as fast as I can, and I'll start making more math rock parts with you guys, which we're very close, because once we're done with the two, then we have October and November chock full of black metal for you guys, which I'm actually really excited for. But in the meantime, let's talk about Widlhund by Lantlôs. Lantlôs, I discovered last year when I made a black gaze chart. Sorry, Music of Destruction. I know black gaze is kind of a joke to a lot of people, but Lantlôs had an album known as Melting Sun, which Lantlôs's career has been mostly black gaze for the first, I want to say, 3 records, just straight black gaze with a lot of jazzy influences and a lot of influence from famed black gaze. I want to, like, inventor, really, Nej, formerly of Peste Noir fame. And it's what he's done for the genre is just insane, because the dude pretty much built it. But Lantlôs really pushed it into somewhere that no one else could go. First he started with just an amazing level of quality. Everyone loves Neon. A lot of people love Agape, or even the debut album, who had a different vocalist who I don't know. But the material with Nej is seen as kind of essential in black gaze. But further than that, Melting Sun is one of my favorite albums ever. So going into Widlhund, there is steep competition, absolutely massive standards to live up to, and just straight up, there's no way to live up to Melting Sun. It is borderline impossible. Did Marcus Siegelhort, I think that's how you pronounce his name, try? Yes, and in some ways he succeeded. I think a lot of tracks on here probably could even fit on Melting Sun. I think Planetarium has the same level of quality and a pretty similar feel. Because one flaw with a lot of these songs is that their builds are not as grand and not as gripping as in Melting Sun. And I wish I could just give this a straight objective review, but there's so little else to compare this album to that Melting Sun is the only thing that really comes to mind. But of course, you can also kind of compare it to Hum's material, which was a band mainly in the 90s, but they came out with Inlet last year. And you could compare it to not much else that I can think of off the top of my head, but mainly a lot of later heavy shoegaze stuff. Obviously other black gaze material, because harsh vocals actually do come back on a couple of tracks here, just for a brief moment, but it really adds a little stylistic touch that I don't want to say Melting Sun was missing. It could have used potentially, but I'm not mad that it wasn't there. I don't see anything that I needed without harsh vocals, but they're here a couple times, and they're very welcome. In terms of Marcus's chops, the dude's a fantastic drummer. Mainly his drum chops are phenomenal. He has some fills that are just insane, and I don't know how else to put it, but they're so impressive. I could never do drums like that, and his sort of dueling bass and guitar type playing really shines through here. That's probably the biggest stylistic deviation from Melting Sun, because a lot of the style is very similar to that, because a lot of the feelings here, especially in the lyrics, are meant to be transcendental and like ascension and unity in a way, rather peaceful, but like super huge and celestial at the same time, which is a really weird way to describe it. And there's not much else to other ways to describe it other than just huge. If I were to compare this to another thing, I'd actually kind of compare this a bit to the latest Clouds Collide release, which was in 2019, which I did a review of when I covered their discography, providing enough separation from the bass genre that it's kind of deviating from to kind of be its own thing. Clouds Collide's album does kind of sit more in black gaze, just with a cleaner edge, a little more post-hardcore elements, even some samples here and there. But this album deviates with really bright guitar sounds, borderline industrial guitar sounds, because he does all these interesting noises with them that have these really nice melodic, just additions that are really separate from the previous material. In terms of like a track list, pretty spot on. There's no bad song on here. There's one that's like a bit of a lull towards the beginning, and then towards the end of the album, you get a couple songs that, in my opinion, kind of keep it from feeling like a complete album. Even though the track list is much longer than Melting Sun, it's the songs "Dog in the Wild" and "Lich." "Dog in the Wild" is the biggest lyrical lull on the album. It's about kind of wanting to be free in the wild, like a dog running in the wild, which a language barrier could be an issue here. Maybe that's something a little more familiar to Marcus, but I as an American kind of struggle to relate to that as much. Like I can imagine like wolves, but like that has bad connotations to me because I think of like boomer memes where it's like, oh, if you send me to the wolves, I'll come back leading the pack. You guys know what I'm talking about probably. And the song "Lich." "Lich" I find stronger than "Dog in the Wild," but it has actually a rather cynical edge to it, which is really, really interesting. But it does kind of pull away from the completeness of the album. It leaves the album feeling almost unfinished, even though there is a great album if you just cut out those two songs and end with Dream Machine. But of course, actually, I'd probably rather you end with Planetarium, because that's sort of, I don't want to say it's an homage to Melting Sun, but it kind of goes back to the strongest elements of Melting Sun. Because Melting Sun, you have a lot of songs that are, all those songs on there are longer, I think, than every song on here. And it's entirely to its benefit. Every single section you can like pinpoint, and it all builds upon each other, and it just switches into these crazy different elements that are just insane. Here, they're just not as gripping. And I know Wyatt X Him referred to some of like the syncopated stuff as like math rock sounding. It does kind of sound like that on the opening track, but it doesn't really register for like the rest of it. And the reason it kind of registers as mathy is because the Melting Sun syncopated riffs are just so, they feel so right that they don't even register that they're a unique rhythm or anything. They're just so just earth-shattering, which a lot of this album is earth-shattering at the same time. Very huge, very loud, very thick and dense, like the bass is just rumbling beneath. A lot of this album feels like you're in the ocean, and it is either washing over you gently with several waves of guitars, and you're just serene, or just thunderous crashes of waves. Really insane feelings here. And I know it sucks to compare this to Melting Sun, but I think objectively, if this came out of nowhere, it would feel like there is a better thing to come, and that better thing would probably be Melting Sun. You'd listen to Melting Sun and be like, wow, that is the logical conclusion to this, or like a step from this that in a way pulls away a couple things, but at the same time masters every other quality. Just more airtight is Melting Sun. That's really the thing. This album's like main struggle. It's not bloated. It's not that long. It's like 50 minutes. But it's just little odds and ends. It's just could be more tense is the thing. I guess that's my main criticism. I probably said main criticism a couple times here. But this is still a strong track list with some great elements. Also the singing. A lot of layered vocals here. Another great addition that I didn't mention before, but it's on one Melting Sun track, and it's the bonus track that I've never talked about. But it's just awesome. And the layered vocals here are a good addition. They're very solid, and they make it feel like really beautiful. That's about it for analyzing the album. I'm giving this one a Come to Brazil. That is an 8 out of 10. I don't have the editing, so it's 8 out of 10. A great album. Really good track list. I could imagine a lot of this played live. I know Lantlôs isn't really doing live stuff ever again. At least that was, I think, Marcus's plan. But if he did, I'd be ecstatic because he's a phenomenal player. And that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the, not really a delay in math rock. I'll actually get back to that really soon. But I'm sorry for the lo-fi recording here without any editing. I probably stuttered once or twice, but that's all right because I just wanted to get this album reviewed because I kind of loved it. And that's about it. So if you guys enjoyed, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. Any comments, questions, or concerns, go ahead and comment down below. My social media will be in the description, and my Discord as well. Come join us. It's a lot of fun. A lot of death metal recommendations from people that I kind of know, but it's always new stuff to get into. That's about it though. So hope you guys are doing well out there. Have a good one. Bye.